Well, hello everyone. It's Ren here. I hope you're doing well, guys. I decided to take you on a little trip today because I've been very nomadic, so I haven't really been able to sit still. Hopefully this walk will not incur what would you call it? A sense of dizziness, I guess. In any case, fear not. As a creature of habit, which is one of my paradoxical features as a problematic INFJ, I never have adventures that are that exciting. So I'm only going to the shop mostly to get myself some fruit and maybe some Coke, because Coca-Cola is one of my weaknesses. Well, in any case, this video, I don't want to make it, necessarily about that, but just to take a little stock of insights I've been getting in regards to, my INFJness, let's put it that way, and how my friends have been reacting to it in Ireland. Because the reactions have been quite revealing, I think. What's interesting about Ireland is that I left it when I was 26, so that would have been in 2013, and that means that I kind of left it long before I really got to understand or even really know about the MBTI scheme. And yet I spent a lot of time there and a lot of formative years of my young adulthood, which also means that I have a lot of good friends here. Probably the majority of my friends, real life friends, are in Ireland, and many of them know me quite well. And at the same time, they never really knew me as the guy who had already settled on a particular type. Because when you settle for a type, when you say, okay, this is my type, I mean, it can be a long kind of research, and there's a sentiment or a feeling of security which accompanies the sort of settling on a particular type. But at the same time, there's also, as you probably have experienced too, this sense of more or less conscious, more or less unconscious, of wanting to fit that type, behaving a little bit more as if, if one has decided that contrary to what one thought, one was a feeler, maybe there will be more of an effort on one's part to emphasize that feeling part. And if the people that one meets are people that one meets after having sort of effected that transition, well, these people will never have the sort of hindsight necessary to be able to tell, okay, but prior to discovering that type that you settled for, you were a little different. Are you like more your true self now, or are you more the person that you decided to embrace because it reassures you to be part of that label? Because it's a community, because it's supposed to have all these different attributes. And it's a very legitimate question, I think. And the advantage of discussing with people in Ireland is that they really know that, Ren before INFJ, sort of. And they know me well, at least a good bunch of them. And so because some of them know about MBTI, sometimes they knew before I even knew, without ever taking as much of an interest as I have taken in it, but still. Some like I have, have proven patient with me, have allowed me to explain to them what the model consists of. Some of them have really enjoyed that and, tried to figure out their type. Others obviously remain a bit more skeptical, but more or less, Irish people, I'm going to change hand because my arm is getting sore. Irish people are kind of patient, they're patient and they're always willing to listen. Even sometimes they might think you're full of shit, but they will still listen. And so, I discussed it with them, not only their type. This woman is going to think that I'm a strange man talking into my camera. It's just, I'm going to cross the road here. It's just been a pretty good opportunity for me to tell them, so like, if I describe this INFJ type, do you think that I actually fit it, based not on what I think I am myself, but what you think I am, or how you have experienced me in my 20s. Again, assuming that I was, healthy in my 20s, assuming that I was myself. You're less likely to be yourself in your 20s than you are later in life, but I would say that by and large, I definitely went through phases of unhealth, but by and large, I would say that that I was mostly myself. I was in Ireland for 7 years, and I remember I have very fond memories of Ireland. There's a reason why I decided to come back for a few months, and I've been mostly happy here. It's kind of my own country in many ways. So I associate this state of happiness with the likelihood of having been healthy as well, and therefore having been myself as well, to the extent that it is possible. So I asked them, and the feedback I've been getting has been quite interesting. Oh, transition again. So I think people like, the first thing that they emphasized was that I was clearly an N type, and that there was no discussion possible about that. So far so good, but what's quite interesting is that just in the same way that it was hard for me to attain to some kind of answer as regards the other letters, my various Irish friends have proven to be also a little hesitant, again, regarding me, and regarding figure out what those letters might be, as far as I'm concerned, whether I'm more of an extrovert or an introvert, more of a thinker or a feeler, and more of a judger or a perceiver. So I think the way it progressed is that little by little it became clear to them that the first dichotomous confusion that was cleared, it might be surprised. Maybe you'll think, oh, obviously it has to do with introversion and extraversion. He's clearly an introvert. I think other people might think, well, he's so routine-based and so systematic in his approach to life that he's quite clearly a J type, and therefore the J type was cleared first. But in fact, no. I think my Irish friends, once they got used to the idea that you could be a logical feeler, because pretty much all of them would, among the first thing they would say is that I'm a very logical person. But once I gave a better description and they read a bit about it, it became clear that they agreed that I was a feeler type. So I became, by definition at that point, I'd become an idealist already. Long story short, once I explained the differences between P and J, once they got beyond the idea that the P's are the creative types and the J's are the executive types, J became clearer as well. I think the hardest aspect of this all was really the one that has to do with introversion and extraversion, and I've already mentioned that on the forum, the INFJs.com forum that I'm a member of, and that I've been tirelessly trying to promote on my YouTube channel, even though I don't think many of you have joined it. But maybe what you guys are interested in is precisely the YouTube video sort of connected aspect of things, not so much the forum aspect of things. nevertheless, it's a great forum if you ever want to check it out. But yeah, like I would say that introversion versus extroversion was the toughest. There were like at least half of my friends who just were quite clear that I was extroverted, which is, I guess, the plight of the INFJ at the end of the day also, you know, like you can seem like an extrovert because people don't really see you when you're an introvert. By definition, you're like not hiding from people, but you're not being social. And that's kind of what you need to do most. But there's always a point where you need to go out and you've accumulated all this energy and you spend it, and sometimes, especially if it's channeled via FE and all these things, you know, whilst you're being social, you can really be social and really be kind of charismatic and even sometimes be a little dominant in the conversation if you're surrounded by people who are more introverted than you are. I have a lot of friends who are like of the INFP type or ENFP type, and so you know, it required delving into like a quite specific kind of conversation about wow, it's a bit of a mess here, I'm sorry guys. It required delving into a bit of a conversation as regards what is the meaning of extroversion and introversion to finally get to an answer. Eventually we settled on an answer, and I think I've become more or less a credible INFJ in their eyes, but I just thought narrating the story to you might be interesting. And on this note, I think this video is probably a bit annoying because of all the noises, so I'll just go get my Coke and my fruits, and I'll see you soon guys. Take care.